Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to crochet this bikini cover up bottom. It's like a long skirt that is for a bikini bottom cover up, and as you can see here, it's going to be extremely long. Well, long enough that it goes up right until my ankles. Now this is an option for me. You can obviously make this shorter than this if you wanted. So if you wanted to just go up I guess above your knees, you can do that. Below your knees, you can do that. It's just a preference of mine that I made it this long. Okay, so it's about 35 inches long like this, and it is super nice and tight, and it hugs, which is good because you don't want one that is super loose. Yeah, but this is what we're going to be working on. So let's go ahead and I'll show you guys all the stuff that I've used for it, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the video. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay my lovelies, so before we go ahead and get started, these are the products I'm gonna be using for this project. So I chose this yarn here, which is Soft and Shiny by Loops and Threads. Okay, so what is this color? This is royal. As you can tell, it's a very beautiful royal blue color. It's 100% acrylic, and it is a medium number 4, medium weight number 4. And crochet hook recommendation size is 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, or USI 9. And of course, these are all the measurements that you need or you have for a bundle, or like a skein like this. I will put in the description box below how much I ended up using for this project. But for now, I have one of these and I have another one. So I have two, anticipating that I'm not going to need all of it. But I will be able to tell you exactly how much I used for my size, okay? Now for crochet hook size, I'm just using a 5 millimeter crochet hook, or H8, so not the 5.5 that is recommended. It's by choice, so if you want to use what is recommended is 5.5, but if you want to put it a little bit down based on how tight or loose you crochet, then you can either downgrade to 5 or you can upgrade to 6 depending on that. Okay, of course we're going to use a darning needle, a scissors, as well as a tape measure to determine our size. Okay, so this is everything you need. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay my lovely, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with this project. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a foundation chain to do the band of this bikini cover skirt. So we're going to do a slip knot just like that. This is how I do my slip knot. Okay, and now that I have that, I can obviously pull to make it a little bit tighter here. And now I'm going to do a chain of 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that is my chain of 11, and this is going to be the wideness of the band of the skirt. Okay, now that I have my chain numbers here, I'm going to skip this first stitch, and in the second stitch I'm going to go in the back and I'm going to do a single crochet stitch, and then I'm going to move on to the next stitch right after that and do a back single crochet stitch, so in the back of the foundation chain here. Then I'm going to go into the next stitch and do the same into that stitch as well. And of course I'm going to do this all the way to the end of this first row, and then we're going to start our second row. So go ahead and complete this row. Nothing very different than what we do quite a lot for this type of stuff. So just a single crochet in the back of the chain. Okay, so we have gone ahead and completed the first row here. As you can see, that is how it looks like. Okay, and so we're going to start our second row, which is our repeat row for this portion of the project. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and then in the very next stitch right after that, we're going to go in the back and do a single crochet stitch, and then we're going to go into the next stitch in the back and do a single crochet stitch. So this is called a back loop single crochet. So you have seen this if you're one of the people who have seen some of my tutorials, especially where I make things like beanies and hats and skirt, whatever it is that requires something that's gonna be like a band. This is usually how I do it. Okay, so of course you do this all the way to the end as well, and with an exception of the final stitch, which is for my preference, I go through both loops as opposed to just the back loop, and I will be doing that all throughout this portion of the project, where I just go through the back loop for everything until for the final stitch. And as you can see here, I have reached the end, so I'm going to go through both of these loops here and just kind of pull it a little bit here so you can straighten the edge, and then you're going to do a single crochet stitch but going through both loops for that final stitch. So this is how your second row should look like. Okay, and then you're going to start row 3 where you chain 1, and chaining 1 is going to be what you do for this portion of the project. On each end that you start the row, you chain 1 and turn. Okay, and then again we go in the back loop and do our single crochet. This yarn, by the way, it's very soft, and I can actually feel it in my fingertips. The residue, or like the softness of it, have transferred into my fingertips, so it's a little bit tricky to work with it. So if this is something that you may find a little bit difficult, maybe find something that is not as slippery. But yeah, just FYI. So I'm gonna do this pretty much until I have the circumference of the widest part of my hips. Okay, so using my tape, I'm going to find the widest part of my hip, and I'm going to do the length of this is going to be that when this is stretched out. So you're going to pretty much measure the circumference of your hips like this, the widest part of your hip like this, and then we're making the part that goes like that. Okay, the circumference of it like this. So for mine, I'm gonna need to do 86 rows to get to the size that I want. And keep in mind, we're not obviously gonna wear our bikini cover skirt from our hips down. We're going to be wearing it from the waist, but you want it to be able to fit your hips while you pull it up to be able to wear it. So if it gets to the waist, let's say you have a slim waist and then it becomes loose there, don't worry about it. We can always do a strap for it, but most likely it will still look fine anyways. But the most important thing is that you actually have it fit your hips, because if you measure it on around your waist, and let's say you have a small waist but wide hips, you will never be able to pull it up. So you want to be able to make sure your skirt can come up all the way to your waist. So this is why we're measuring the widest part of our hips as opposed to measuring our waist size. All right, so go ahead and continue to create this portion of the project, which is pretty much single crochet stitches in the back loop until you get to the length that you want. Make sure you incorporate the stretchiness of this pattern. And like I said, I'm going to do about 86 rows, and then I'll come back and we will move on to the next step of the project. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed creating the band of the project here. So as you can see, this is how long it is. This is the part that will go around my waist, and without stretching it, that is how it looks like. But if I was to stretch these, of course it gets really stretchy, and of course it helps to have a stretchy yarn as well. If you have a yarn that is not as stretchy, then it would probably not stretch this much. But this is about 86 rows that I have all together here, and this is gonna easily go over my waist. But because if you don't stretch it, it snaps back a little bit, then this is actually about the size of my waist. If I don't stretch it, this is the size of my waist here. Okay, so always make sure you're measuring yourself before you move any further. This is mine, and I wear small, so I always make things in a small for myself. Okay, all right, so we're gonna move on to the next part here, which is going to be more of a fun part of the project. At least I consider it more fun, but of course it's up to you how you're going to be enjoying this. but we have this part here. So for this skirt, we're not going to join it like this and work like we did the one. I think we did one in my channel. So we're not gonna join it like this and work down like that. We're going to work while it's open like this, and then at the end we're going to bring it together and join it, because I want to be able to join it very small, just until where your hips kind of dip in, and then I want to leave a slit of it. So I figured the best way to do that would be to work on it openly like this, and then at the end bring it together. All right, so to go ahead and get started with the second portion of this, I'm going to go ahead and do a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to turn my work this way, and I'm going to skip this stitch right here. So there's this part that protrudes here. That would usually, the way I do it, it counts as a stitch. In the valley section here is 1 stitch, and then it continues to do that all around. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to skip that stitch, and in the stitch right in the valley, I'm going to do a treble crochet. So I'm just gonna go into that stitch and do a treble crochet here. And the chain 4 that we did at the beginning here counts as a treble crochet with a chain 1. Okay, and then I'm going to chain 1 here, and then I'm going to do a treble crochet. So skipping this in the valley, I'm going to put a stitch in there, and that's how it looks. And then I'm going to chain 1, and I hope you can see it here. Let me try to zoom so I can bring it closer. So chain 1, and then do a treble crochet in this valley. Okay, just like that. Chain 1, do a treble crochet in the valley. Chain 1, do a treble crochet in the valley. And as you can tell, this is pretty much what we repeat all down here. So this is going to be the first row of the treble crochets, and then of course the work is going to we're going to continue to build it that way. So but for now, go ahead and work this until you get to the end of this down here. When you get here, come back and I'll show you how to start the second row, and then we're going to continue to do that for the rest of the rows. And then of course you're going to build this as long as you want it or as short as you want it, so that preference is going to be up to you as well. But for now, let's go ahead and do the first thing, which is to go all the way to the end, and then come back when you have done that, and then I'll show you how to start the second row. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I have completed the first row of the second part of this bikini cover that we're working down towards our bottom. Okay, and as you can see here, I did my last treble crochet right here. I have already done my chain 1, and so I'm going to do my final treble crochet in the very last stitch right here in the corner, which is going to be, like I said, the last one. There you go. So that's how it should look like on this end, and of course this is how it should look like on this end. So as you can see, we're doing a treble crochet at the very end right here, which was our chain 4 to begin with, but on this side there's no chain 4, it's just the chain 1 plus the treble crochet. Okay, so this is how this first row is going to look like, just something like that. Now I'm going to show you how to start the second row, which is also our repeat row, and we're going to be pretty much repeating this until we have the length that we're looking for. So we're going to start with a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and turning, and then on top of the treble crochet from the previous row, we're going to do a treble crochet there. Okay, on top there's a stitch, you're just gonna grab that and do a treble crochet right there. And the chain 4 that we do is always going to count as a treble crochet plus a chain 1 in between. So that's how that one is going to look like. So of course we're gonna do a chain 1 here as well then, and then we're going to do a treble crochet for on top of the previous treble crochet that we did from the previous row, and then we're going to chain 1, and then a treble crochet on top of the treble crochet from the previous row, and then chain 1. And as you can guess by now, this is repeated until we have the length. Okay, so it's a very simple, that's why I said this is my favorite part of the project, because it's very simple, it's very easy. I can sit down and watch Netflix while I do this, and also because it's such a long gated stitch, it's going to work up really fast. So as you can see, only 2 rows here and we already have that much of it. Okay, so it works up really fast. And of course, it's now summertime, it's going to be time to go to the beach very soon, and why not have some nice bikini cover-ups you can wear with your bikinis. And I love this color, so this is gonna go with either blue bikini or black, any kind of colors that are going to go with this type of royal blue. This is gonna be a bikini cover for that. Okay, all right, so I'm not gonna show you guys all this to the end because this is pretty much a repeat row here. So you're gonna continue to do this all the way to this end here. Do not forget to do your chain 1 in between your treble crochets, and you're gonna do your final treble crochet or second last treble crochet on that second last treble crochet, chain 1, and then for the very last treble crochet we have our chain 4 from the previous stitch, so from the previous row. So 1 2 3 4. So 1 2 3, you're going to go right in the stitch right before your your 4th one, and so this is where your treble crochet is gonna go right here, and it's gonna make it so that these lines are continuing to stay straight. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys continue to build these up here. I don't know how long I'm gonna do it. I'm going to play it by ear depending on how much yarn I have left, and I'm going to build this until I have a satisfying length that I want, and then I will stop there. Okay, so you do the same. You can do this all the way down to your ankles. You can do it right below your knees. You can do it above your knees. You could do whatever length that you want for this. But no matter what, when you finish the length that you're looking for, come back to the video and I will show you guys how to finish that off and then how to join the 2 sides together. Okay, all right, so go ahead and get working, and I will see you guys when you get to the end. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed this part of my bikini cover. Okay, so as you can see here, I have just stopped right here, and I stopped here because I'm almost out of yarn. I ended up using 2 skeins of what I showed at the beginning of the video, and so now this is where I'm at. I have a little bit left, so I'm not gonna take a risk of doing another row, and also need enough to be able to join the 2 sides together. But this is pretty much how it looks like. It's pretty long. It's about 35 inches, and it goes just right above my ankles, so it is a decent length. It's gonna have a good cover for your bottom. Okay, and as you can see here, I put a stitch marker here because this is where I'm going to be joining my work until, and then we're gonna leave it to have a slit in the bottom. Okay, so again, if we fold this in a half, so if we fold it like this, which is how we're gonna be sewing it, so we're gonna be joining this guy right here, and then we're gonna go down on the side, and of course my stitch marker is here, so that's where I'm gonna be stopping. So then my bikini bottom cover is gonna be covering most of my bottom here, and then as soon as it hits just right above my ankle, above my knees, it's gonna start to open up and stays open like that. Okay, and this is an optional. If you would like to have it go all the way down, it's absolutely up to you. All you need to do is just continue to join it all the way to the bottom here, but for me, I'm going to be joining it until I have it here, and this may not even be the place where I stop. I will probably just go up to here, stop there, try it on, and if it's too high, then I can always just join it a little bit more, so it'll go down a little bit, and if it's okay here, then I'll just leave it there. Okay, but that's pretty much it here. So this is the bottom, this is the top, and so what I will do here is I will just go ahead and disconnect this yarn here because we don't need that anymore. So I'm gonna bring in my scissors and just cut that yarn over there, and then we're gonna go ahead and do a slip stitch to join that there. Okay, so that's that. And then I'm going to go ahead and start joining this. So it doesn't matter what side you join it from, all sides are going to be exactly the same. But for me, I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna be going in like this. So I'm gonna start somewhere here and then go down like this. Okay, so let me get everything ready here, my darning needle, my darning needle, and then I'll come back to show you guys how to do that portion there. Okay, so I have my yarn here pretty much put into the darning needle. As you can see, I made sure I cut a long enough piece that it's not gonna run out before I get to the spot that I'm going to. And if I do need to continue further down, I will have enough as well. So that's just playing it cautiously. Okay, so again, we're going to just line up our work very well here. You should have your 10 stitches here that would line up pretty well. And then what I will do is I will take the darning needle that I have, and I will go into, what I will do here is I'll just zoom in so you guys can, or zoom out I should say, so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna go into this very first stitch here, go through both loops, and then go into the other side, and I'm gonna pull. Okay, and what I will do here is I'll just knot this section like this, and we're gonna leave it like that. But I'll go into that same section one more time just to make sure that I'm securing my bottom here very well, very tightly. And then I'm gonna go into the next stitch here. I'm gonna go into both loops and then the both loops of the other side, and I'm going to pull. I'm just gonna bring these strings to the other side. I'm gonna pull. Then I'm gonna go into the next and then grab both loops on the other side. And at this point here, you can use any technique to join. Maybe this is not a technique you like. You can use whatever technique that you prefer when you do join two sides or panels together. I'm just doing this because this is one of the techniques that I use. Okay, so again, you're going to continue to do this, like you go all the way to here. So when you get to here, come back and I will show you how to join in this section where there's no actual stitches that you can see. Okay, so just finish these to here and then come back. Okay, so I have completed the 10 stitches here. So again, if you just kind of make it straight like that, this is where we joined it, but it's very invisible. You cannot quite see that it is where you joined, but that's pretty much the point. And now we move on to the section that doesn't quite have stitches. So I'm just gonna go on top of the very first section here and do one there. And then in these sections that are open like this, I'm going to do one right in the middle. And you're just grabbing a stitch on this side and stitch on the other side. It's not very clear, but just grab a stitch on each side and pull. And then the next one is going to be this middle part here. So the part that runs like this, you're going to grab that, and then the opposite side you do the same and make sure you're lining it up. And then you're going to pull, and then again you go into the middle of the chain 4 section from the previous row, or from the when you're working on your work. You're gonna pull that, and then now you're back again to this section that has a line, and by line I mean these parts here. Okay, and then you grab that and you pull, and again you just continue to do this, so it's gonna look like that. So that's what we're joining right here. So you're going to continue to do this all the way to where you have your stitch marker, or where you marked it off that you're going to be stopping. If you're doing it all the way down, then of course continue to do it all the way to the bottom of your 2 pieces. So it would be all the way down here. Okay, so you will be joining it all the way down here. But for me, I'm going to be joining it to where my stitch marker is. Try it on. If it's enough of where I want it to stop, I will stop it there. Then I'll come and show you guys how it looks like. If it's not enough, then I can always do a few more down, and when I'm satisfied with how much I have the slit, how much slit I have left, then I can come back and show you guys how it looks like. Okay, so go do that with yours and come back, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and joined my bikini cover skirt up to here. So that's where I stopped here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and weave in this end here. I also have these strings to weave in here, and of course as well at the bottom where I stopped the work, I'm gonna weave that in as well. But for now, this is pretty much how it looks. Okay, so this is where I joined my skirt right down here, and then this is my slit that I'm going to have open. And you can of course have these open in any position of your body. You can have these open in the front, you can have this opening in the back, you can have this opening in either of your sides. So you can have it on the right hand side thigh or the left hand side thigh, but this is pretty much just to leave it a little bit nice and open and playful in the bottom. But otherwise, this is pretty much how this looks like. And if you flip it onto the other side, this is how it looks like. So you don't quite see the line that runs down that joins the two parts or the two sides together like this here. But that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and obviously, like I said, weave in my my yarn here and all the other parts that I need to weave in. But this is pretty much the end of this project here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed making this with me. Of course, being that summer is around the corner, hopefully you will be out a lot in the beach, and having something nice to cover up with is always something that it comes in handy when you have one to just kind of grab and throw on. Yeah, but this is pretty much it here. So I would like to thank you guys again for joining me to the end of the video. And again, if you have not subscribed at this point, I would like you to subscribe, please, if you can. That will really help build up my channel. And of course, check out all the other things that I have in my channel as well. I make so many different types of crochet projects, so go check it out. And if you like what you see, then of course go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, and of course ask me any questions or comment in the comment section below. Okay, and don't forget to hit the notification bell for all, so that you can actually get notified whenever I post a new video, which I usually do once a week. Okay, all right, well, thank you so much again, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.